It's the challenge, and I'm really fueled by proving people wrong.
They want gravel to stay the way it is, and we're like, well, there's no rules, so we can do whatever the hell we want. Kind of the Wild West of bike racing, which is why I think it's sick.
Take risks, ride hard, really testing what the limits of my body are.
I'm down to send it and see what happens. People kind of start to break. I think all bets are off for those guys who are racing for second place.
Somebody said I couldn't do this or I was gonna struggle in this. Well, here you go, I fucking did it.
I mean, a good mix of stuff is good. Maybe some wine. We could drink some wine first. Some beer, I don't know, pick. You guys pick, I don't fucking care. I'll drink anything, I'm really not picky. We can make some mules, what if we do that? Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, and Italy was so sick. Like, you finish in a castle. That's got to be like the coolest race finish I've ever done. But now we're in the world of Walmart, which, when you're in the world of Walmart, it is bougie out here.
Yeah, we're here in Bentonville, Arkansas for the final round of the Life Time Grand Prix, which is Big Sugar Gravel.
So Big Sugar is new. It's one that was developed by Lifetime rather than acquired as a successful event. The city of Bentonville and Visit Bentonville, the tourism department, they wanted to bring a gravel race to Bentonville.
Yeah, I've raced here a few times. The Epic Rides race here 2 or 3 times, and that's right here in Bentonville. And then I've raced in Fayetteville, raced a cross-country race there. I spent a bit of time here, kind of know the area, kind of the terrain. And
I've always found a lot of success here in Bentonville, in Fayetteville. I think it's a combination of the style that it is. It's short and punchy, and that really suits me. The riding in Bentonville is very manicured, purpose-built.
Like, the Waltons have put a bunch of money into developing all the single track and kind of the bike infrastructure. All the trails are like bike specific, like they're made to ride mountain bikes on, which is pretty cool.
I think that the Walton brothers are, they're obviously a big reason why Bentonville is what it is. This is where they live, and they want it to be special and for people to admire it, and they're doing a good job.
And up next, we're going to bring up our top 3 podium for the men's overall in the Lifetime Grand Prix. In 3rd place, I need Russell Finsterwald to the podium!
So the Lifetime Grand Prix is 6 races, 3 mountain bike races, 3 gravel races. They take your best 5 out of 6. You're required to at least start Big Sugar. I had a really strong start of the season. I was 2nd at Sea Otter Classic. I won Unbound.
Yeah, it's cool to have, different races and different venues, and I'd never imagined it would be as rare as it was.
But I definitely come into the last gravel race of the year, and really my last race of the year, really fired up, and my form that I had in the spring is not all gone, and that I can still win.
In 2nd place, give me Alexi Vermeulen!
Different types of courses, short, kind of cross-country course at the beginning of the year with Sea Otter to super climby course at Crusher and the Tusher, and long endurance events.
I won Sea Otter, that race suited me well, and it's okay, now we can focus on Unbound if I can do well there, and then if I can win Leadville, then I can probably lock up the series.
Didn't really know what Keegan was gonna do. It was pretty incredible that he did just ride away from it. That was definitely a super powerful performance from him, just dominating.
And your first ever Lifetime Grand Prix men's champion from Heber City, Utah with 149 points, Keegan Swenson!
In the women's field this year for the Lifetime Grand Prix, a different athlete won every race. And that's pretty fucking cool. The level that the women have this year, it makes the racing so much more interesting when not one single rider is so dominant.
There was definitely some really cool racing story to follow throughout the season of it. And that's something that's really been missing in the kind of domestic racing scene in America.
Yeah, so I've already won the Grand Prix, so I'm just here to race, and it's nice. There's not a whole lot of pressure, you know. I think all this whole season there has been like pressure of the Grand Prix, and like you have to race smart, slightly more conservatively, and now I just get to go race.
And your first ever women's champion of the Lifetime Grand Prix, presented by Mazda. Let's give it up for
sending my coach the GXP file for Big Sugar because it's really windy today.
Yeah, it's just, I think the majority of the time it's going to be a headwind out, crosswind on the backside, and then a tailwind on the way back. The gravel is just so chunky that like there's really two good lines, maybe even just one. So like you kind of need to know how to really like position yourself.
Well, the inspiration came from that. And then when I really decided to disappoint my mom when I got it tattooed on me.
Matching team tattoos.
My plan's always to help Keegan if I can, but you know, I have to be there at the end to help Keegan.
You make Tobin sleep in the baby bed?
What?
Do you make Tobin sleep in the baby bed?
Fuck yeah.
Started with what I thought was a 7-mile neutral rollout. And I guess it wasn't a neutral rollout.
Literally, we rolled out of the start and then kind of got onto that main road, and it was like wide open, which was a little bit surprising. They said it was going to be neutral, but I was stoked to have it be fast. It's always safer, and it's just nice to get it over with, get to the dirt, and get the race going.
There's some sections of it that are like quite chunky. I think probably the most dangerous parts of riding out here, there's some like curving downhills that are off camber with loose rock on them, where like if you're not careful, you can just go like sliding off the side of the road and down the hill.
I love it. That's one of my favorite parts about gravel racing is just like, there's not a whole lot of control. You can't just like dive in and, you know, push it because you'll just crash.
There was Ruth Winder. She was a minute up, 3 minutes up, and I was in this group with Alexis, Emily, Lauren, and Paige.
And yeah, we got on the dirt and then it was pinned. Good crew of guys were willing to really push the pace, and the race pretty much blew apart right away.
I loved every second of that UCI Gravel World Championships, like how they have close courses, they have a bunch of course marshals. You know, I've never felt that my safety was at risk. I felt extremely safe in the course that they put on, and I think that's something that the US really struggles with.
Well, yeah, so the safety aspect on the finish line, shared finishes are again an important part of the the feel, the experience of an event for that 100-mile or 50-mile rider, like getting the same finish line feeling of like everybody cheering them in with yelling and cowbells and all that stuff. But there definitely is a safety concern there with potential fast group coming from behind and running into somebody. It's a difficult balance to strike.
We're so focused on the media side of the sport right now because it's so huge that I think sometimes it's like, well, if you can have 10 motos out there covering the race for a media perspective, you can have 2 out there for safety. It can be done, and I think as riders we need to keep pushing forward on that and keep pressing the organizers about like, hey, you need to have these intersections at least controlled because somebody is going to lose their life at some point, and it would be a shame for somebody to have to tragically lose their life in a race due to a safety concern, when it's something that can really easily be fixed right now.
It's coming to a head a little bit. And I really hope it doesn't take a big crash on a finish line to implement safety changes that'll make things better in the long run.
The only thing that'd be nice to have is like maybe more lead motos, more closed roads, make it a little bit safer. But in terms of the racing, I like the Wild West aspect, self-supported, not a whole lot of support. Yeah.
Mile 21, Garrison, Swenson, and Patton, 1, 2, 3.
When you have a smaller group, it's a lot easier to work together rather than when you have such a large group, people don't want to pull and it's really easy to disrupt that flow. So I was trying to push it on the climbs because I knew the guys would come with me and let's keep it rolling so the girls can't catch on.
I don't know, maybe 15 of us, which was nice. That was kind of my hope going into Aid 1 was to have a group about that size just because it's, everyone's willing to work and it's just easy to kind of know what's going on. It's a bit safer.
The Lifetime Grand Prix can be something that changes how we as cyclists and kind of the drop bar side of things view the pinnacle of cycling.
And I think the level of competition has just skyrocketed. And
I mean, I hope we can get some more competition. It's always fun to have deeper fields and better racing. It makes it tighter, more exciting.
The kind of style of riding that has really grown up in small town of Emporia, Kansas, is really has captured the world's imagination.
I think gravel had this bloom 5 years ago, but it wasn't quite adopted by a lot of the professional racers.
Right now, World Tour is still, where the very tip top of athletes are.
But this year, with the Life Time Grand Prix, it forced a lot of top level athletes to put a focus into gravel. Winning is a lot harder this year. The group just kept coming together again, and then we hit a climb and I just didn't have the legs to go with a surge, and I got popped off that group.
And from there on out, just continued race of attrition. There was lots of flats, probably some crashes, a bunch of explosions, guys just cracking.
I'm still a mountain biker at heart and I really love it, but I've really I love racing gravel now. I think it's a really good time and it's been a cool new adventure. But I'd say overall, I'm just more of a bike racer now.
I also have kind of fallen in love with this gravel discipline. It's really fun and it's super cutthroat and there's more drama in it, and drama is fun, and
this year's been crazy. I did a 24-hour solo race in February, won mountain bike nationals, the XCO nationals, and then I went to Road Worlds, raced Unbound. For me, it's just been a year of doing everything, which has been super cool. I feel in a way I've kind of created my own path in the cycling world. Man, Road Worlds was pretty crazy. It was definitely I feel like I was just thrown in the deep end and had to kind of figure it out. I was well, I got about 6 hours to learn how to do this, and
I went to Italy to race the first ever UCI Gravel World Championships. What I liked was I just raced in a pack of women, and it was aggressive and it was, cutthroat, and you had to hold your ground. And, for me is in kind of what I kind of want out of gravel. I don't care to prove myself against the men. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna win the Rainbow Stripes someday.
Me going to Road Worlds kind of legitimized kind of what we're doing over here. It says that gravel racing's pretty legit now, and that we have some of the best. We can compete at the highest level in any discipline.
We're kind of getting at this point that it's the top end of it is so professional, and it's, there's huge contracts, there's bonuses, there's, it's so much more professional now than it was 5 years ago, and you kind of need a lot more of a separation between the men and the women, just so the women can actually have their own race and have it be fair, because it's the same cycle after every race. Oh, there was this guy that got in our way, or I crashed because of this guy and she was able to, get away because she was stuck in the wheel of this guy. And I don't know, it's the same story over and over, and I'm just kind of over it.
I still want to win Unbound. I was pretty bummed I missed that one this year. That was a huge target and came up just short. So I won every other big event that I really wanted to in the US. So Unbound is still, still got to do that one.
Winning is hard, and nobody normally gets to win as much as either Keegan or I have done, this year. So it just makes me really realize how special, crossing that finish line first is, and to be honest, how hungry I am.
Finsti, Keegan, kind of side by side, Alexi and Roberge, and we are headed to the finish to greet somebody. I'm not gonna say who, but somebody.
Yeah, so Russell attacked with maybe half a K before the very last climb, so he went on the flats. And I was I'm not gonna chase. I'll make these guys chase. So he had a big enough gap, and then we hit the climb and I attacked Roberge and Alexi. I was able to pull a pretty good gap and then rolled in just behind Russell.
When I got caught and I saw it was a big group coming, I thought, oh, I bet you there's 2 or 3 girls. But then to realize that it was actually, the majority of it was women, was really cool, and it was really special and fun, really, just to race the women and kind of go elbow to elbow today. Yeah, I think the women celebrate the fact that we're done and kind of the performances that each one of us puts forward, and I think we're willing to go at it on the race course, but once we cross that finish line, you know, we're really all friends.
You know, he's on a different team, but we train together and we're good friends, and he was riding really well today. Just was really aggressive and was strong, and I was like, no, like, those guys both looked at me to chase. I'm like, you guys do it. Like, I don't have to chase. You guys need the points more than I do.
I just knew all I had to do was beat Sarah, so that really motivated me in a way. She's one of my best friends as well. Yeah, once I got into that last hill, it was, you go all in and the season's over.